Alright guys, welcome back to the channel. Welcome if you're new. Thank you for taking time out of your day to check the video out. We have more PlayStation news, rumors, and leaks to go over and cover today. And we're just starting here talking about Ghost of Yotei. It's launch day, and so I think a lot of people are very much looking forward to getting this game today. Some of you have probably already played it. And I actually do have a question for those who have started playing it already. Without spoiling anything, I just want to know if the first hour, if the opening of Ghost of Yotei is as good as Ghost of Tsushima's or even better. I'm asking because some of the reviews really put a highlight on the opening of this game. Well, because the opening of Tsushima was so strong, I'm just kind of curious. I mean, I'll find out for myself very soon, but let me know down in the comments below if you're going to be playing Ghost of Yotei, and if you have, what your thoughts are on it so far. But we are going to move on from that, and we're going to do a bit of a follow-up to yesterday's video. We're not going to spend too much time on it, though. But yes, the rumor was true. Game Pass has seen a significant price increase and a major overhaul to how it is going to be going forward. But we have an interesting article here from Push Square. The title says, PlayStation Plus looks better than ever after new Xbox Game Pass price increases. Says, how would you feel about paying $30 per month for PlayStation Plus Premium while the two subscription services aren't exact copies of one another, with Xbox Game Pass offering considerably more day one titles? That's now how much a monthly subscription to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate will cost as of today. Microsoft has confirmed that it's updating the membership service by increasing the price and introducing 3 tiers of similar names to PlayStation Plus. There's Essential, Premium, and Ultimate, and the pricing structure is $10 per month, $15 per month, and $30 per month, respectively. Microsoft claims that these are upgraded tiers compared to what it had before, and one of the ways it's justifying its Premium and Ultimate offerings is through its Xbox-published Day 1 titles. You get everything Microsoft publishes on Day 1 on the Ultimate tier, but the Premium offering does not offer that. You have to wait about a year or so. They say you'll get those games within 1 year of launch. Of course, entirely new PS5 and PS4 games are not a focus for PlayStation Plus, as Sony tends to only bring a handful of new indie games to the service on day one. Recent examples are Sword of the Sea and The Rogue Prince of Persia. However, there's still quite a gulf in membership prices between the two offerings. PlayStation Plus Essential is $10 per month, PlayStation Plus Extra is $15 per month, and PlayStation Plus Premium is $18 per month. If you wanted to subscribe to Xbox Game Pass Ultimate, it would cost $360 annually. Comparatively, PlayStation Plus Premium is $160 annually. So it does say here, to try to justify these huge price increases, the top tier of Xbox Game Pass will now also offer Ubisoft Plus Classics, and a new premium Fortnite membership called Fortnite Crew, as well as $100 in Microsoft rewards. So yeah, I had to do a little bit of a follow-up because when I recorded and put out my video yesterday, it was still just a rumor, and it was confirmed pretty much at the exact same time I uploaded my video. And yeah, I'm just kind of curious what you guys think specifically about how PlayStation Plus compares to Game Pass now. Obviously, the price increases are significant, and I talked in yesterday's video about how I think that this was to be expected. But now I'm curious how these two subscription services kind of stack up against one another. And yeah, it's, one other thing I want to mention here before we move on is the amount of people I've seen canceling their Game Pass subscription. I've seen so many people who have been subscribed to Game Pass this entire time coming out of the woodwork saying they're done. I mean, this was like a really big deal. I don't know how much of it is like overflated or hyperbole, but yeah, I imagine that this did quite a bit of damage to Game Pass. But moving on from that, I had to take a moment to talk about this because frankly, I just think it's kind of funny. I'm going to be honest, there's no other reason for putting it in here, but I just had to cover it. It says, former Blizzard president Mike Ybarra seems to have some thoughts on how Microsoft has been running its Xbox business. In response to a social media post about Sony calling the PS5 its most successful console in terms of sales and revenue, Mike Ybarra wrote about the console market being a successful business, quote, if you do it right. This post by Ybarra has led to quite a few of his followers criticizing him, with one going as far as calling him a bitter ex-employee owing to his tenure at Blizzard. Ybarra responded to this post by simply saying, quote, "Your console is dead," end quote, likely assuming that the commenter owns an Xbox console. But yeah, this has kind of been making the rounds on social media, and you know, it's just kind of interesting to see somebody like Mike Ybarra, who was part of Xbox for a very long time and then became, you know, a high-ranking executive at Blizzard. And, you know, I think it's just interesting to kind of see how you have somebody here who was part of it, and even they're kind of at a point where it's like they're just kind of getting fed up with these people, right? So there you go. We're going to move on from that, though, and this is something more important. It's an exclusive report from Tom Henderson in regards to PlayStation sunsetting some PlayStation 4 services for new titles in spring 2026. So it says here, PlayStation is seemingly beginning the process of phasing out support for the PlayStation 4, as Insider Gaming has learned that some legacy services for the platform will be sunsetted in spring 2026. Documentation sent to Insider Gaming says that PlayStation is to start sunsetting legacy PSN features for the PS4 in spring for new title submissions, new games submitted for the PlayStation 4. It stated that, quote, "This means that any new PS4 titles submitted after this date will no longer be able to integrate with the following legacy features," end quote. So these are the features: Activity Feed Web API, Title Small Storage or TSS, Title User Storage TUS, Users and Profiles, Word Filters, and Shared Media Web API. According to the documentation from PlayStation, quote, "These services are designed to provide a more unified and scalable foundation across console generations," end quote. So this is something that I think a lot of people are going to read and be like, what does any of this even mean? These are like back-end features that developers, you know, can take advantage of and utilize when bringing their game to PlayStation 4. And to me, this is just basically Sony signaling that, you know, I mean, if you think about spring 2026, that'll be about a year away from when they're likely going to reveal the PlayStation 6 and their next generation plans. So I think it's just Sony making it clear that they want to move on from the PS4. And I'm going to be honest, I'm totally fine with that. I mean, the PS4 has gotten incredible support. And it's not to say that Sony's not going to support it at all, by the way, to be clear. They just want to really kind of start funneling developers where it's like, listen, start developing for the PS5. Okay, and the PlayStation 6. That's really what this is. But, you know, developers will still be able to bring games to the PS4, of course, and the PS4 will still continue to get support. But yeah, this is just a sign that Sony is going to, I think, once the PlayStation 6 is revealed and comes out, they just want to focus mainly on that and the PS5, which makes sense. But moving on from that, I want to go over another report that actually comes from Insider Gaming. It has to do with a new Lord of the Rings game that's in development. But what's interesting about this is it's seemingly going to try to compete with Hogwarts Legacy. And we know how massive Hogwarts Legacy was and how successful it was. It outsold Call of Duty in 2023. And it was big for PlayStation as well. It was like one of the most viewed trailers from the PlayStation 5 reveal event. And so according to Insider Gaming, there is a new Lord of the Rings game. It's a third-person action title that's been in development for a little while now, and it's going to be getting even more funding, about $100 million. And this game is, as they say, being positioned to, quote, compete with Hogwarts Legacy. And so not too many details were revealed about this game other than, you know, that it exists and it is going to be very big. But I just wanted to, again, take a moment to let you guys know about this because I know that a lot of people loved Hogwarts Legacy, and it felt like it was done near perfectly, right? It's a game set in this universe, doing everything right, and I think it's interesting to see that this is apparently going to be the template now, right? Where WB, they're making a Hogwarts Legacy 2, but now they want to kind of give the same treatment to the Lord of the Rings universe. I think that this could be amazing. Personally, I like the Lord of the Rings universe better than the Harry Potter universe. But yeah, there you go. According to Insider Gaming, this is happening, and it's going to be pretty big deal. But we are going to move on to the final topic here, which is just briefly talking about Silent Hill F. This is being reported by WCCF Tech. It says it appears that even the developers of Silent Hill F did not anticipate such a positive reaction from critics and fans. Speaking on an IGN Japan livestream during Tokyo Game Show 2025, the producer said, quote, "I'm grateful that it was rated higher than I'd expected. I think you'll understand if you play it, but since it's a game with a lot of challenges, I thought there might be some pros and cons. But it's been very well received, and it has a Metascore of 86, the same as Silent Hill 2 Remake. Well, I was really surprised." And so it says that doesn't necessarily mean future installments will follow the Silent Hill F formula. We'll be putting out something different with a different flavor. We want to explore all sorts of different aspects of game design and story. He followed this up later on a post on X by saying, "As I said in the interview, not all future Silent Hill games will have the same gameplay as F, but rather I want the series to always be challenging in a good way so that players can enjoy a different flavor of gameplay with each installment. Of course, there are some things that will remain the same, the most important of which is the quality of the story. I'm convinced that a psychological story is essential to what makes Silent Hill unique, and I will continue to focus on that point and release future titles with confidence." So there you go. I just wanted to give you guys this update because Silent Hill F is seemingly a resounding success all around. And if you're wondering if they're just going to kind of, follow this exact template, they're not going to do that. And so it's going to be very interesting to see what else happens with the Silent Hill franchise going forward. Seems like, it made a pretty successful comeback. Silent Hill 2 Remake, Silent Hill F, both doing very well. So good stuff. But guys, that's going to do it for the video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it informative. If you did, be sure to leave it a like. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Hit the bell notification icon and feel free to share this video out on top of all that. But until next time, guys, take care.